Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to the High Energy Entrepreneur Radio Show. I'm your host, Donna Guinois, and I am so excited you joined us here today. Today's show is super cool. It's 3 under 30. So we have 3 uber young entrepreneurs who have shattered the curve of major success. We're going to hear all about them in a little bit. The iNetpreneur is where entrepreneurs, business owners, influencers, and experts come together to talk about their challenges and their triumphs, their tragedy and their impact. So let's get behind their stories and learn from their perspiration to their inspiration. I'm joined here today by none other than Robert W. Jones. He is the founder and chairman of Network Together. Welcome, Robert. It's been a couple weeks.
It has been. It's great to be back, Donna. I feel I've been missing you. I mean, not getting
I know.
a bit before the show. It's like, it's like, I don't know, like Steve Sims, Henry's dad. It's just like, what would I do without Maker's Mark? I mean, it's just like, I got to be a part of the show or I'm like dead to the world.
Right?
Oh, my goodness.
Well, welcome back. So what do we have going on in Network Together right now, Robert?
Well, what's really pretty phenomenal right now is we started our iNetrepreneur Academy, and we're really excited that we chose Speaker Pathway Coalition, who's been partnering with us for quite a bit of events the last couple of years, and they came out this last week on Wednesday, and they taught a 1-hour class on the 6-minute webinar and how to crush it with sales by using this new format that they created. So
I love it.
Yeah, it's really great. And
mine's done and fabulous.
Nice. But I was a part of that as well on the first entry on it, and I was the one that won the award for the first sale on that 6-minute webinar.
You did.
Dropping the mic, man. I'm going to drop the mic on that one.
I know, you got it.
Absolutely. So we're really happy about that. Starting next month, we're going to start our iNetrepreneur Academy that includes real estate and investing. And now we're looking also for some like Rockstar marketing companies to help us with our academy in that endeavor. Also, another cool thing that's coming out is in August, our iNetrepreneur magazine is coming out.
Already again, huh?
Absolutely. And we have some notables in there. We have John DeMartini's going to be in that magazine. We have Denis Waitley. I like to call Denis Waitley almost like the godfather of personal development. He's 90 years old now, and he's been, helping, business owners get past their barriers. I mean, breaking the glass for years and years. We also have another gal, which I really, am very intrigued by. She's on the East Coast. Her name is Terry Levin, and she is noted as the heartpreneur. And she works with a lot of larger businesses and corporations, to become less cold. And she's a great impactor. And right now we're working with I'm gonna bring up Henry now. We're working with Steve Sims, and we're looking at our negotiations of he might be the cover of the iNetrepreneur magazine, and of course Steve is known for the book Blue Fishing, and it's like how to land, I guess what you call the blue whales, those superstars.
Right.
So it's really pretty cool what we have coming out, Donna.
Yeah, well, and if anyone knows how to land the bluefish and the Rockstar people, it'd be Steve.
I know he's landed you. I mean, he has to be good if he landed you.
Listen, he's done some pretty cool things. He really has. His resume is quite impressive on what he can do.
Yeah, no,
absolutely. So, sorry about that. So today, are you as excited about the show as I am, Robert?
I am. We got to like talk a little bit, before, coming on air here. We had to teach Jack on how to use his microphone and headset. But, I am well assured that they're all going to be able to drop us some great golden nuggets. And I'm just looking forward, learning from these young entrepreneurs. And I believe they're going to crush it today.
They are. They're crushing it in their business. And I can't wait to interview each and every one of them.
Well, have a great show, Donna. I can't wait.
Great. Thank you, Robert. Today, my first guest is none other than Jack Mao. Jack? Hi, Jack.
Thank you so much for having me, Don.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be here. Now, listen, Jack, what I like to do before we get into the questions of the interview is I like to take a minute or so, and I like to brag about my guests. So I get to brag about you for about a minute.
Right.
So Jack is the owner of Young Entrepreneurship Foundation. Did I say that right?
Young Entrepreneurship Foundation.
Okay.
Yes.
And this is really interesting. Jack knew what he wanted to do at a young age. And actually at 14, he started working at McDonald's to start funding his foundation. So clear goal right from the start. And Jack is from a low-income Chinese immigrant family raised with a single mother. And he now helps other young entrepreneurs fulfill their dreams. Jack, welcome to the show. You fascinate me, so I can't wait to jump right in.
Thank you so much, Donna.
Okay, so let's start. So you're from China and you came over here at a young age.
Yes.
Okay, and so how did you figure out right away, so young, 14? I mean, seriously, that you're just a baby at 14, you know? And how did you figure out that you knew what you wanted to do at such a young age?
So I've actually, I was in the process of starting another company. It's basically my freelance web development services. I started doing web development when I was in 4th grade, and I was just interested in making a few more bucks for my college tuitions. And the process of starting the company was really complicated, especially since I did not have a lot of seed money, so I couldn't afford a lawyer or a CPA, and so I had to read all of the state laws, city ordinances, IRS publications, and it was a really difficult path to go down. And
right?
Yeah, and it's like, there's definitely other people who might be in my shoes, and I've always had a passion for helping others, so I started this nonprofit organization to do just that.
So I just got to say real quick, all right, the city ordinances, state laws, I get that, but the fact that you could understand the IRS codes and stuff, that's impressive. That is really super impressive.
Thank you.
I mean, that stuff is like, excuse me, I got to go to college and get like my rocket science degree. It's very difficult. So what was the first company that you started?
So it's called Critonicate LLC. It's basically just just me making websites for others, and some graphic design as well. But I could have went with the normal what all freelancers do, which is sole proprietorship. You basically don't have to go through all of these complicated things to start, offering your services. But I thought about it, and it's like, all right, let's venture out and start an LLC, sub S corp, and it was quite a journey, and that was kind of how I got to the nonprofit, because I saw the struggle of starting the business, especially as a mom.
Right. And how old were you when you started that first company?
I was 14. So
that's crazy awesome. Couple years ago.
Yeah.
You're so cute. I love it. So you have, other than working at McDonald's to fund your first business, you've really, after that, you've never really looked back.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
Okay. And what was your next business? Because I know you own several, correct?
Right now it's just the two, and then maybe in
Just
the future.
the two?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. And so how do you go about reaching out to other young entrepreneurs to help them? How do you do that?
Sure. So as a benefit of being a high school student, I have the opportunity to connect with other high school students because we're in the same age group, I guess.
Right.
I have a lot of friends who are passionate about making change as well, and so we just reach out to our peers to get them interested in our programs, and so that's kind of how we reach out.
Okay, and so your company now, tell us about it and like the whole kind of structure of it.
Sure. So we're mainly student run, but we're expanding our organization for the next few months to include a larger board and just in general the organization. We're working with a financial advisor to create our financial literacy curriculum. It's one of our programs that we do to educate high school students on financial literacy. We're just in the process of developing our curriculum. This upcoming year will be our pilot year to see how our program does and go from there.
I love it. And
thank you.
How long did it take you to put together your first one and then your second one? And this is in 3 questions. And are you currently still in high school or are you out?
I am still in high school, and I plan on going to college soon. So.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. So how long did it take you to start your first company?
So the web development services agency, it was relatively quickly. Just took me a couple months, I guess. The nonprofit, on the other hand, took me quite a while because you have to get your 501c3 status.
Right, that takes a minute.
Yeah, it's quite a lot to do, and that took me about, I'd say about 8 months of researching and just filling out the paperwork and waiting. So.
Right. I know I have several friends who have nonprofits, and they say that the paperwork is quite horrendous.
Yes.
And can be very frustrating at times. I love that. So how many people do you have? Is it just you, or do you have other people who actually work with you?
So starting out, it was just me. And then I had a few of my acquaintances come on and help me out. And right now we're expanding our organization to include hopefully around 8 to 10 people. So yeah.
Wow. And now do you guys meet regularly?
Before COVID, yes. Right now we're just,
Didn't we all?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you guys get together on Zoom and go over everything like, like everybody else? Okay, this is awesome. And I know you mainly are working with young entrepreneurs, but what about, do you work with only young, or do you work with maybe somebody who's a little bit older and is frustrated in starting out, saying, business corporate world's not for me?
So right now we're just focusing on high school students, and then in the future we'll expand to actually like middle schools and elementary school age students, and then we might expand to undergraduate college students. Because there's starting a business, there's a lot of resources for adults out there already, and I kind of want to do something different and kind of focus on the youth as well. Because here's the thing, a lot of entrepreneurs are relatively older because they have the experiences and probably money saved up. The thing that we want to teach is that entrepreneurship, yes, but also that failure is it's possible, and we want them to, well, we don't want them to fail, but if they fail, we want them to learn a lesson, and this will be a very valuable experience for them. Even if it's just a small company, that's good. And they get to kind of go through the process of maintaining their business and kind of I guess reaching out and see if that's something that interests them in the future. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. But, yeah.
Right. I love that. So we have about 4 minutes left in the show, Jack. And I got to ask this question. And this is one of my favorite questions I get to ask. As an entrepreneur, as people, we don't always wake up in a great mood, right? Life is not perfect. Life happens. And sometimes we just wake up pretty dang grumpy. What do you do, Jack, to get yourself out of that space and come back to that heart center space so that you can work forward?
Well, I just, I think with my nonprofit organization, I'm very passionate about, helping others, and that passion really just drives me every day to, build up our organization. But, outside of that, if I'm down or something, then I just watch a few inspirational YouTube videos, or pick up a new skill or something. Just refreshing my mind a little bit.
I love that. So as a high energy coach, one of the things I teach my clients is to get in a place where they can go and relax and close their eyes and go to that place that brings them happiness and brings them peace. Mountain, stream, ocean, whatever that might be. And get there and envision it until it fills their entire body and they start to relax, and it brings back that energy, and they're kind of getting out of their head and back into their heart. That's one of the things I love to teach my clients. So what do you do? We have about a minute left. What do you do, Jack, for fun when you take off your entrepreneurial hat?
So as I mentioned, I just watched some YouTube videos, but outside of that, I'm starting to go to the gym. Well, before COVID, but started going to the gym, and it's working out is pretty fun. It's pretty interesting. Gets my mind going, and
it clears it too.
But also sometimes I bake some cookies or something, just for fun. But, yeah.
Right? That's awesome. So we are about out of time. Jack,
right.
Tell everyone how they can get a hold of you, who have young entrepreneurs in high school who would like to learn more about what you do.
Sure. So I have attached my email down here. And also you can reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. So those are the main two communications that
awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here with us on the High Energy Entrepreneur Hour.
Thank you so much for having me, Donna.
Thanks, Jack. Okay, that was absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. So reach out to Jack if you have a young high school student who is interested in navigating into entrepreneurship. My next guest I've met and is a wonderful, beautiful young lady. Her name is Hannah Kessler. Hi, Hannah. Welcome.
Hi, Donna. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. So good to see you again.
Yes, you as well. It's been a little bit.
It has been a little over a year.
Yeah.
Yes. So, okay, first thing I do is I like to brag about my guests.
Mm-hmm.
So it's my turn to brag
I'm
about
okay
you.
with that. I like
Okay, good. I love it. Okay, so Hannah is the Chief Operations Manager at the Money Multiplier, which is a family-owned business. And she helps families keep money within the family, therefore leaving a legacy for everybody. Now, this I just found fascinating. I love Hannah, of course, loves to travel and loves music, but she is a hula hoop performer.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
Right? Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I'm not sure I can hula hoop anymore.
It was just a little silly hobby I picked up, right? So I was going to these shows and stuff with some friends, and I saw somebody else doing it in the crowd, and I was like, maybe I'll just buy one and see what happens. So I've been doing it for about 4 years or so now, and it's just progressed to here.
I love it. Well, it's actually killer exercise.
Right. Mm-hmm. And
right.
in my opinion, honestly, it's meditative in a way. So moving meditation is also what I call it.
Well, and balance.
Yes.
And balance. I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So you, let's start a little background.
Okay.
You're originally from Kansas, correct?
Mm-hmm. Grew up in the Kansas City area.
Okay. I used to live in Garden City, so we have little Kansas in common.
Yeah.
And now you are in Florida?
Mm-hmm. So Daytona Beach area.
Okay, perfect. Mm-hmm. So this is interesting. How did you get started in the family business? Because you actually did not start out thinking about going into the family business.
No. So it was back when I was in Kansas City. So I moved into a place with a couple of my girlfriends in the city. Okay. And so I was a waitress at Cracker Barrel, and I was going to college for a little bit. So my true really thing that I want to do is I want to do fashion design. Right. But I was thinking to myself, carrying all of the debt from going to school and reaching out and really starting your own business. It's a leap. Right. It's a risk that you take. Right. And so just this one day, Mom called me up and she said, hey, Mom and Dad need help in the business. If you're not going to help us, we're going to find someone else. Well, I was like, okay. So I was like, well, I'm just, waitressing. I'm trying to figure out if I want to go this fashion design route. I even I was trying to be an accountant at one point, maybe. Right. So just kind of testing out what I wanted to do in life. And so I was like, okay, I might do this. And at that time, Mom and Dad, they moved down to Florida. Okay, so they left Kansas City. My brother and I were still up there. Zach was in high school. I was going to college. And so I thought to myself, man, if I don't think if I move out of Kansas, I'm not going to move out of here. Right. So time to maybe go somewhere else and start something different. So since then, I've jumped on board, and so I was doing back office stuff with Mom, and so now I'm out on the front end, really getting new business with Pops, and it's a lot of fun.
I love that. Right. So I'm just curious. I'd love for you to tell people in a brief synopsis as we can here, what it is and how it is you guys do this.
Okay. So really what it is, right? So there's two businesses that people are in their life, right? So the first business is the one that they're passionate about, that brings in their income, that they like to do day to day. And the second business that everyone really needs to be in is the banking business, the business that finances everything throughout your life. And so that's what we teach on. We teach on the banking business, how to, instead of doing business with the banks, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, how you can be your own banker in your own life. Okay. And we teach how to finance all of the transactions throughout your life, and how to recycle and recapture all of the dollars that are being sent out to other people. So I know it's
Right.
it's not traditionally what we've been taught about our money, right? So traditionally we've been taught to trade hours for a paycheck, right?
Right. Hours for money.
Yes, and we take that paycheck, we go deposit it into somebody else's bank, and those bankers make a really good living off of our money that we store there, right? And so now we're really just changing the game, how to be in control of your own money and how you can be the banker. Okay.
Ooh. So I have seen this presentation, folks, and it's very, very fascinating, especially when they get into the detail of, you know, the interest and on, you know, when you can actually, so it's going back about a year, fund yourself, right? You can fund your own cars. You can, right? Am I correct?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes.
Yes. So, and you become your own banker.
Absolutely. Yes. So it's a different topic. It's not traditionally what we've been taught of how to handle our money. It's outside of the box thinking, right? And that's kind of why we're here. We're all entrepreneurs. We're outside of the box thinkers, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And how long has this business been in existence?
Okay. Yeah. So the concept that we teach, honestly, it's been around longer than our tax code. Our tax code's been here since 1913. So it's an over 200-year-old concept. The only issue is that no one's out there talking about it. So it's not when I got the book sitting right here. It's not when this gentleman, R. Nelson Nash, wrote this book, Becoming Your Own Banker. This is really what we teach and 100% what we dive into, right? But so really how our family got into this is my father, he was at a chiropractic seminar and somebody was speaking on this concept. And so by implementing it, he was able to pay off a massive amount of wealth and really keep money in the family. So it wasn't until his gentleman that he was working with said, hey, you've referred me a lot of people. Maybe you should go out and start teaching this as well. Right. And so I would say that was back in 2006, 2008 or so. And so since then, the Money Multiplier has been established since 2017. And so so now that's us. And so we just branched out and started calling us the Money Multiplier. We teach on this concept called the infinite banking concept.
And if I recall in the story your father talked about, he made a really great living, but his debt was really, really high too. Like he was at the point of being help high.
Yes.
Right? Like, gonna have to start selling something here pretty quick.
I call it the financial hamster wheel.
Right. Absolutely. And then it only took him, how long did it take him to turn that around? Because it wasn't a very long time.
Nope. 39 months. So 3 years, 3 months. Just by implementing this one step into his life.
And he's very open about it. His debt was over $1 million, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. He'll tell you down to the right dollar amount.
Right. He'll tell you to the penny. Yeah. He will. He'll be like, I was in for. Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me, Hannah, what is it like working directly with your family? I mean, I'm sure it's exciting and awesome. And I'm sure that there are some learning curves.
Yeah, no. So you don't want to see the back office is what I always say. No, but it's honestly brought us a lot closer. Right. So my mom and I's relationship is better than ever. And to be honest, sometimes my father and I were very similar. So we'll butt heads because just we're so
right.
Alike, right. But sometimes, we do cross that line of father, daughter, and okay, now it's time to be employee, boss, right?
Right.
Take a step back just a little bit about that. But honestly, there's never really been like a big blowout, right? It's all, and what's really cool is that we are leaving a family legacy and building this,
Oh, absolutely. And, now you're a second generation, you've got third generations around the corner, et cetera, that this baton can be handed off to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what's what made me very humble is that hearing my father's background of, he didn't have much. He didn't come from much. And I'm very blessed to be living the life that I do and having these opportunities. And so now that's honestly why I like to share this concept with other people, because this truly helps them in their financial life.
Absolutely. And that brings me to one of my questions. How have you seen personally, Hannah, these concepts change people's lives?
Yeah. No, I definitely. So just with the multiple, a lot of clients that we have just around the country, getting out of debt faster, right? Being able to go on those expensive vacations that they want to go on, and just really being in total control of what they want to do in their life, right? So personally in my life, I really want to use this concept to build myself to a financial stability. And then I want to take that leap to go design the clothes that I want to do, go sew the clothes that I want to do. Maybe I even have a dream of maybe opening my own retail store or boutique, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? You have the tools right there, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You have the tools right there. So, it's interesting because, and we kind of went over it a little bit, but it's interesting because Robert and I, one of the things we talk about a lot, Hannah, is not everybody is born into entrepreneurship. And I love that we touched base on that with you, because you weren't planning on it. I mean, you had a different path. Your father was a chiropractor. So he wasn't planning on it. And so he's gone a completely different path. This is awesome. One of my other questions that I adore asking my client or my guests is, what do you do when you wake up in the morning? As an entrepreneur, as people, we don't always wake up with, the perfect day, and daisies are always fresh in a vase by our bed. And what do you do, Hannah, to get yourself out of that kind of grumpy mood and get yourself back into the right path?
Well, have you ever heard of coffee?
Yeah, I live on that, girl.
Oh, just playing. No, honestly, what I really get into, I like to do yoga, getting up in the morning and stretching, turning on a playlist, a nice melodic playlist, and going out in my sunroom and, just doing 5-10 minutes of yoga a day, right? It really just does calm your body, calm your mind, and then you can start going into anything with just the right mindset.
Absolutely. One of the things I tell my clients as a high energy coach is you have to set your mind, right? However that works for you. And I give them options. Some of them, they're like, well, I just wake up grumpy every day, no matter how much I tried on it. Okay, then let's change this. Clear your plate the night before, right? Write down things that you're grateful for, right? Things that you're grateful for, things that you've accomplished, things that you're absolutely going to be able to tackle and complete tomorrow. And I started that way. So what do you do for fun? This is great, because I think you're going to go into some other detail. When you take off your entrepreneurial hat, okay, you love to travel, you love music. What do you do to really relax and come back to the money multiplier ready, fully charged?
Ready, fully charged. I would say, oh man. So I will say I like to spend my time in nature. I like camping. I like I like paddleboarding and kayaking. And a new thing here recently is we'll go down to the arcade. So we love arcade games down in Daytona Beach on the boardwalk. They have some arcade setups, and we like to go down there and just have fun for a little bit.
I love it. So yeah, I'm definitely into kayaking, paddleboarding. I'm not sure about my balance.
Balance. Yep.
I'm just going to be honest about it.
That's okay.
Kayaking is great. That is fabulous. And the arcade, if you're down in the beach on the boardwalk, I mean, come on, you're having fun. You got fresh air. You've got the ocean right there.
Yes, yes.
It doesn't get much better than that. And then, of course, you spend a lot of time with your family outside of work.
I do. Yeah, no, we do. I do.
Awesome.
So, you know, they you know, we'll go to the beach for a little bit, you know, we'll spend some time at the pool. It's always hot here. You got to be in some sort of water. Right? So, yes, no, we do though.
Yeah, Arizona gets a little warm too.
Steamy. Yep.
In fact, just the other day was our 30-year anniversary of the hottest day in Arizona on record, and it was 30 years ago. It was 122.
Wow. Okay.
In fact, that was in 1990, I believe it was. Yeah.
Wow.
1990.
But you weren't living there at the time, right?
Oh yeah.
You were? Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's just a little hotter. A little hotter, sort of like when you're really cold and then it gets more snow, you're just a little colder.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, where can everyone reach you at, Hannah?
Yeah. So honestly, go to our website, www.themoneymultiplier.com. And if you really truly want to find out what we do, we have our recorded presentation on there. If you scroll all the way to the bottom of the homepage and click on member area, and it'll give you access to the full 90-minute presentation of, hey, what is the money multiplier, this infinite banking concept? Also, please, you can reach out to me. My cell phone number is 913-908-3511. You can call me, text me.
Awesome. Hannah, thank you so much for sharing, you know, your journey, your success in the family business, and most of all, thank you for making a difference in people's lives.
No, you too, Donna. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me, and it's great to meet you, and we'll build this relationship.
Absolutely. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, is Hannah not just awesome? She has such a passion to help you change the way you use your money. And I've met her father. Reach out to her and have a look and see what she's all about. And if you can't find her, reach out to me. I will make that warm introduction for you. I absolutely would love to put you in contact with her. Well, my next guest is none other than Henry Sims.
Hey, Donna, how are you?
Wonderful, Henry. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be on the radio show with us.
Absolutely. No, I thought it would be a fun opportunity.
Oh, I love to make fun happen. Life's too boring not to have some fun.
Oh, yes.
Right? So first thing I like to do, Henry, is I like to take a moment and brag about my guests. So Henry is the owner of the Zesty Owl, and we'll get into why it's called the Zesty Owl in a little bit. It's kind of a fun little interesting story. Henry studied mechanical engineering and kinesiology, and he figured that it wasn't quite a great fit for him, but he took everything he learned and he brings that clarity into his clients' businesses, goals, and helps them in their marketing strategy. So he just married it all together. And so Henry is just a wee bit of a adrenaline junkie. He's been right. I'm like, wee bit. He's been racing motorcycles since he was 9 years old and has hit speeds on a bike, guys, of 170 miles an hour. That's impressive. Wow. Okay, I like to go fast in a car, but I feel like I got a little more, I don't know, I don't have to balance so much in protection. Exactly.
Yep.
And I love motorcycles, don't get me wrong, but for me to go 170 on it, that's not going to happen.
It's a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different. I think the fastest I've been on a bike was like 90. And yeah. And then the fastest in a car is probably 125. Gosh. And that was a lot of fun. Yeah. I'm okay on, especially on fours. I'm good. So, okay, let's talk about this a little bit. You grew up in a family of successful entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But you didn't start out thinking in your younger years. You didn't say, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. You weren't really in that area.
No, growing up within an entrepreneurial family, I was constantly seeing how much work went into it, how much liability was in it, and I got to see the really good and also the really bad, and
Right.
It was seeing all of those ups and downs to such drastic extents that made me think, God, there's no way I would ever want to take on that kind of liability. Like, I want to be here and enjoy my life, do the things I want to do. Why would I put myself in that situation when I could get a job that would comfortably pay the bills? And so,
job is just over broke.
Yeah, yeah. But eventually, it was kind of the freedom aspect, and I'd worked a lot of really horrible jobs, and just was getting tired of not being able to do things my way, and especially when I thought I could do it better, and management was getting in the way of me doing that. So that's what really made me start looking elsewhere and into doing my own work.
I love that. And it's very true. Robert and I talk about that a lot, that not everybody was born to be an entrepreneur. Some people go back and forth. My earliest memory was I was probably 5, raking my neighbor's leaves for a quarter. And if I did a really good job, I got a box of Cracker Jacks. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. But I always worked. I've worked from a young age. But I went out into the business world and came back into entrepreneurship because it's just not 100% for me. I get it. There's a lot of, and there are some companies, and you'll agree, some companies out there are rock solid. They are wonderful to their employees. Definitely. I just happen to never find those.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, okay. So let's talk about the Zesty Owl. Yeah. Because people, it's an unusual name, which makes it so cool. But I would love for you to tell the story behind the Zesty Owl.
Yeah. So as I was kind of trying to form my digital agency, I was looking at all the others around, and they all kind of had this similar vibe of very serious and professional, and quite often, in my opinion, quite dull. And so when I started thinking about what I want to call my business, I was just constantly looking at storefronts and looking at objects around me and seeing how they would ring if I put different words together. And I saw some fun company names, and then a friend of mine just said, "Don't worry about it. Just have fun with it." And he's like, "Just stick an animal with some kind of adjective." And I was thinking about, what kind of animal would I resonate with? What does fits my style? And that's when I found the owl. And it's known for its characteristics of intuition and clarity, its vision, its wisdom. And I thought, okay,
loyalty.
That fits with kind of my engineering mindset of really analyzing the details and looking for that stuff. And then the zesty aspect was those analytics have to go into a business to bring some visibility, to bring some zest and life to it. So I brought those two words together to form Zesty Owl.
I love that. I love that. It's just unique and it's very fresh. Yeah. Seriously, and it's kind of late in the game now, but now I'm thinking, gosh, I'm only high energy performance coaching. Thanks, Henry. So tell us about what exactly you do, how you go when a company, a person, an entrepreneur, solopreneur, whoever it may be, because the process is going to be the same. Doesn't matter whether they're a large company or a single. What do you do? How do you go in and help them? Run us through that.
Yeah. So as entrepreneurs, the majority of them are what you would classify as visionaries. You have two drastic types of people, visionaries and technicians. Most entrepreneurs are visionaries. They have these big visions. They see things. They come up with these ideas, but quite often the little elements and details can be overlooked, or they don't know how to put them together to get to that point. They just go for it. So what I try and do is I come in and I try and be the one that looks for those details that are missing, or how can we make things more efficient? How can we make the overall strategy and implementation more efficient and easier to carry out? Because as many entrepreneurs that I've worked with, they'll see a new piece of technology and they jump into it, and then the next one comes out and they jump into it, and now they've got this whole system of all these different accounts where many things probably can do the same task or function, but now they're lost in their system. There's so many things going on that as they try and grow, it's very hard to keep it all together. And so I really try and help simplify. I want to make sure that, one, your brand's digital foundation is set from the beginning. And then I try and develop what I like to call a digital ecosystem, where everything works together, and we figure out which different tactics to utilize to help bring more visibility to your business, but keep it a very easy one to track and continue to grow.
I love that. What I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what you said, at least how I saw it or heard it, is that sometimes people do too much and they got so many gears going that they've confused themselves.
Yeah.
Right. And so you kind of take it apart and simplify it to make it function and work smoother with better grease. Greasing that wheel the right way.
Yes.
That is fabulous. And so what are some of the companies that you do best with, or is there a yes or a no on that?
It's been very funny to see the different industries and people that I've worked with. I've worked with social media influencers. I've worked with a lot of personal coaches and consultants. That's been one of my most popular clientele. I have worked with concierge services. I've worked with mortgage and real estate professionals. I've worked with industrial air compressor manufacturers. And most recently, I've been working with a politician running for U.S. Congress. So there's not a defined who I work best with quite yet. And that's because in my mind, the process of looking at what someone's doing and analyzing it, trying something, looking back at what's going on and testing and implementing, it doesn't change that process. So I don't want to get bored by doing the same thing for the same industry all the time. I like seeing what everyone's doing because you can pull different ideas from different industries.
That is absolutely fascinating. I love that. And when you said a compressor company, I'm like, okay. Yeah. An industrial compressor. So those have got to be mammoth in size, right? Because I know my boyfriend has, he works construction and has his own company, and he's got multiple compressors, and he likes a little one for this, but the bigger one does this. I'm like, okay. So this is awesome. And then do you work, now I know you don't live in Arizona. You're in California?
Yep.
Okay. And so, but you work with clients all over the country, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Fabulous. And what is one thing that gets you excited when you get your client from A to Z and they're on their own? And while you explain that, you'll have to pardon me. I need to plug my computer in.
Okay. So primarily, I like it when someone kind of realizes the simple things that they missed. A lot of the ways I start with a client is I do what I call a digital or social media fingerprint, where I look at how their presence is put online. And quite often after doing that, I get many people coming back and I can't believe I wasn't doing this beforehand. I can't believe this little element was missed when I've got a team of 6 people who have never pointed this out before. And it's an introductory kind of thing just to make sure we're on the right foot. So it's not an expensive thing that I do, but these small details and foundational elements are so important before moving forward. And so I really love it when we can point out just those little details that really make that big of a difference for them moving forward.
I love what you just said, because what you said was you help make sure that the foundation of their business is completely secure, right? So that as they build more and grow more, that it's not going to crumble underneath them and get lost in the process.
Yeah, just create more mess.
Right, exactly. That is absolutely fabulous. What are some of the things that, like in absolute examples, that you can tell everybody listening, Henry, some of the things that you do, that you help tweak, that you can help them with? Some of the things that you find, is a notable difference as you go on. This seems to be a little bit of a pattern, if you will.
A lot of projects that I've been working on recently, I find that, like I was saying earlier, there's a lot of companies that are using softwares and services that, as time goes on and those services and softwares progress, many of them start overlapping with being able to do the same thing. And so now companies are they may just be paying unnecessary money to keep one subscription alive when they could just cancel it entirely and utilize the other one for everything. Or now they're trying to coordinate between 2 different systems to manage the same clients and contacts. Just recently, a client was using 2 different programs that both enabled email automations. And so when I went in and looked at all this, I said, well, this one can do it as well. And so we just canceled the subscription entirely, saving $127 a month on that, and just put it into the other program. And so it's I just go in and I see what people are doing, and there's so many different programs out there. There's no way I'm going to know all of them.
Right.
So it's always a learning process of seeing what's going on, how it works, and then what we can do. Some clients have such a high volume of clientele that they just can't talk to everyone or answer all the common questions. So quite often with them, I help create a chatbot flow that helps answer questions without them having to get involved, and lead those potential clients where they can go and find their answers.
I love that. So I think it's interesting, because what I just heard is you go in, of course, the end result is the client and helping them attain the success that they desire and should rightly have. But you go in with a fresh set of eyes.
Yeah.
Right. So, it's the old saying, we're too close to the forest to see the trees.
Yes.
Right.
Definitely.
And so you kind of clear it out and unclutter the forest, and then boom, they can see some trees.
Yep. And once we've done that, then now we can start going in and doing your advertising and getting content out there and helping gain some more visibility for you. But if you do that without the other stuff in place, tracking is difficult. It's hard to know what's working and what's not. So I try to make sure that I really emphasize a digital ecosystem. Everything's working. The systems are there, and the content is there, the advertising, everything's working in harmony so that we know what's going on.
I love that. I I find that refreshing. So I do. And I got to ask you, because I know you're really young, give in just a few sentences, give some tips to other young entrepreneurs out there who are up and coming. Give a few tips, because you're very successful, Henry. So give them a few tips of what you would tell them, or you would have told your younger self to save some heartache.
Oh gosh.
Sorry.
There's always problems coming up. And so I think part of it is the patience, just having the patience and determination to go through it. But it really is making sure that you're clear with what your goals are. And that doesn't have to be a big goal down the line. One of my favorite questions I like to ask myself was from a book that I read. And it's like, if I can only do one thing today, what is the one thing that's going to make the biggest difference? And so I'm always writing out my to-do lists of what needs to get done. And when you know that you're not going to get everything done in just the one day, when you ask yourself, what's the one thing that's going to move the needle, that really improves your progress and makes sure that you're doing the most important things to get to where you want to be faster.
I love that. I love that. So we have 2 minutes left. What do you do, Henry, when you wake up in a grumpy mood? We don't always wake up in great moods, right? Yep. It's not always perfect. Life happens. We all have issues and things happen in our life. What do you do to get out of that funk and come back into that heart-centered place so that you can be more zesty in your zesty owl business?
Definitely. Well, one of the things that I like to do is just disconnect entirely. So I shut off my phone. I make sure that there's no interruptions of people contacting me. And I like to get up really early and go and read a book outside. I really love being outside. I've recently started going surfing early in the morning so that I can just get out, do some activity, and just relax on the beach before the day gets going. But that kind of giving myself some time to just not be talking to anyone and know that no one can reach me and I can just either read a book or go surfing, that really helps me slow down my mind before
decompress.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I tell my clients as a high energy coach, find that space. And that's what you've done. You find the space. So it's whatever that works for them, but give yourself permission to have those time alone and re-energize yourself.
Absolutely.
I love it. Yeah. And you've got to have self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Henry, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day to be on the High Energy Entrepreneur Radio Show. 3 Under 30 has just been phenomenal. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me. I loved it.
Okay, folks, that was incredible. Robert, are you there?
Yeah, I'm just like blown away by all the information I got with everyone.
Right?
Man, it's like, I mean, and I liked it, the full circle. I mean, like with Jack, starting at such a young age, knowing this is the world he wants to enter into.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
I didn't even halfway think of that stuff. I was still like, I don't know. I was still, driving around the city on my banana bike at that age,
Chasing girls.
Yeah, right. And had the little cards that went click, 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 clicks. It was like kind of cool. And then Hannah.
You are old.
Yeah, I know. Okay. and then Hannah. I mean, I totally can resonate with her because my family. Part of my family was all like paycheck, paycheck, paycheck. Live the W-2 lifestyle. And then there were other people. The W-2 part of my family was like, there's those crazy darn entrepreneurs. I mean,
right?
Ones that yeah, they say they want to have the freedom of life, and it seems like they're working 80 hours a week. Why do I want to go do that? Why do I want to work with my family, my mom, my dad, my cousins,
right.
people that say they're my family I don't even know. And it's just like, then all of a sudden, same thing happened. You know, I started working with my mom. You know, I got married, started working with my wife. You know, heck, now we even, you know, we got the kids on the payroll. So, you know,
Right?
they're 11 and 14. It's amazing what happens, how close we get. It's like, yeah, you want to buy a jacket, go work for it, you know?
Absolutely. And then look at Henry. He
I
grew up
know.
in a family of successful entrepreneurs. And he's like, no, 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 man. I've seen the highs, the lows. That's just crazy. And then he was like, money for time and no freedom. And I can make this all work. And he made the marriage come together.
He did. I mean, he's like the classic thing, you know, are entrepreneurs born or are they made, you know?
Right.
And I think for a lot of
Absolutely.
us, yeah, and I think for a lot of us, it's like, you know, no matter what, you know, I'm coming to find it's like, you know, maybe it's always a little bit of both. I think if you're crazy enough to be an entrepreneur, there's something in your genes somewhere that's going to be a crazy kid for life, and it doesn't matter. No one's going to stop me. And
Right.
you know, like Hannah said, it's like you have you know, as an entrepreneur, if you truly want to pursue it, you got the heart and the stomach and you got the mind for it, you can do anything you want, you know, as your passion, you know, and it sounds like she has many passions, but you know, what I love about what she's doing too is she's like giving, you know, people of whether they're entrepreneur or not, a way to have a debt-free life. And to me, you know, that is like the most sincerest form of freedom of being an entrepreneur. So you can have the ability to do anything you want, you know. So now I'm going to go to California or Daytona.
That's huge.
I'm ready to go surfing, man. So let's do it.
Absolutely. That's huge. That's huge. Well, this has been an awesome show, but we are out of time, Robert.
All right.
Okay, folks, was today's 3 Under 30 absolutely incredible? I highly recommend you contact any and each one of them. And if you don't have their information and can't find it, by all means, reach out to me. I'm Donna Guinois. I am the owner and founder of High Energy Performance Coaching, and I want you to have incredible 4th of July. Stay healthy, stay happy. See you next week, folks. Bye-bye.